a problem with the sentence, I have to do the work. When we say I have to do the work, we basically imply or say clearly that I have to incorporate some willpower to force myself to do something. In lots of cases, when you have to use willpower in order to do something, that rings a little bell. The bell is if you should do that thing. And the conversation typically comes into a crossroads where there are a couple of things that you shouldn't be doing, ultimately because you genuinely don't like them and for some reason you haven't forced them to you, because you have an identity of a high achiever, an identity of an entrepreneur, an identity of someone, and you have a set of things that you're supposed to do because you are carrying that identity. But then there is another set of things that you are supposed to do because at the end of the day you are an adult. So the separation is not always absolutely clear, and this is what makes that exercise a little difficult sometimes when you're trying to understand which part is shame and which part is accountability. And you know what? At the end of the day, if you need the willpower in order to tick off the tasks, I have to challenge if you actually have to do the tasks. And the conversation typically goes into doom scrolling, into procrastinating, as you said. Here's how I see the mechanism. There are a couple of things that you have to do, but you don't want to do. The shame of not doing them makes you seek for comfort. Because you are seeking for comfort, you are letting yourself into the impulses and into the addictions that we have on an everyday basis, which are mostly concentrated towards screens. So you might be doom scrolling, you might be watching porn. This is also a very common theme. So you are seeking for dopamine hit. That justifies in your mind the shame that you shouldn't be doing that because this is clearly wrong. You shouldn't be doom scrolling. Instead, you should do that. But this is a pseudo dilemma in reality. You shouldn't be doing potentially none of the two. What you should be doing is looking for ways to make these tasks or to replace these tasks with other tasks that don't give you this internal warfare, that are not pushing you into a state of having to battle with yourself on actually doing these tasks, which leads you into seeking for comfort, which ultimately is procrastination and reinforces this never-ending cycle of shame.